Okay. This is going to be a demonstration for the preliminary sketch for your handscape drawings. Alright, so at this point now, you should be done with your 5 thumbnail sketches. Okay, so I'm gonna allow you to just basically pick out what you feel is your best drawing. So now, if you want to get my advice on like which one to pick, that's completely fine. You can ask me during class when we get started on this assignment. But ultimately, though, I'm gonna let you guys pick out your own compositions and drawings you want to do. Um, Okay, but because like like your thumbnails you guys drew though, you probably have like a better idea of like how you want it to look than I do. Even like some of my drawings and the thumbnails though, there's like little details and things that I haven't really considered yet when I make it bigger. So, I would definitely go with like whichever idea you feel most comfortable with doing. So, when you're deciding on your drawings compositions, then I'll kind of zoom in on mine. I have some like pretty nice compositions. Like I feel like probably this one is like my strongest composition if I were to, pick one. So I got like one, big hand here, just some like smaller hands back here. Like this is a pretty safe bet to do in terms of like my handscape drawings. This one's not too bad though, but it's kind of hard to like find these kinds of hands when I was trying to draw them earlier. And then this one's kind of like inspiration from like the warm-up. So this is actually the hand that drawing I'm gonna go with. I have a pretty good idea of like how this one will look, and I really like the idea that I did with it's like two hands that are arm wrestling, two guys that are fighting on top, and then there's like a volcano scene happening. So this one's kind of neat though, but I don't really want to do that idea though, but yeah, pick out the idea that you want to do like as your final. One that can kind of push you to work on this for the next few class periods, and one that you won't get bored with, one that will challenge you, and then one that you're pretty comfortable with doing. So I feel like this is probably like the best bet one that I would want to do. Okay, so now moving on to the preliminary sketch. So you can do this all on the same sheet of paper. So I'm just going to make some notes of certain things. So just remember, like with your handscape drawing for your project. Okay, these are like hard requirements for the drawing. So one, you need to draw a landscape. Okay, so I'm not going over what a landscape is again. It's like what I wrote up here before. You have to have trees, mountains, lakes, roadways, etc. So anything that deals with land formations, you have to include a drawing of that. All right, and then one of the requirements that I mentioned before, though, you had to demonstrate surrealism. Okay, so you were missing the surrealism part in your initial sketch. You can modify your ideas to incorporate surrealism, but surrealism though is kind of like making up a made-up world, fantasy world. So look at the handscape examples, the surrealism examples I showed you, Salvador Dali. You're gonna have to kind of create a world that is looks real, but it's like unreal though, because there's like some odd or weird things happening. Kind of like a dreamlike world. You have to demonstrate surrealism, and then you have to have two hands minimum in the drawing. 2 hands minimum. Now, if you want to do more than 2 hands, that's fine, but it has to be at least 2 hands in the drawing. Okay, so those are the hard requirements. Now, in terms of the preliminary sketch, this is the same idea as a rough sketch. Okay, so some of your others art classes, you may have done like a full page drawing of like your rough sketch, and then move on to the big paper. I'm just gonna have you guys just do the preliminary as your rough sketch because I feel this is big enough to get your details, how you want it to look. There's really no reason to kind of like waste paper. At least I feel. Okay, so preliminary sketch equals the rough sketch. Okay, so one thing I always say is look over your reference photos or references. Okay, so key thing though, references is that will help you with your drawing. Help you with drawing. And it is something you will learn from as you draw. Learn from drawing. Okay, so just remember like that video that I told you about the the sharks and the references. You know, the references will help you to learn how to draw like specific things. So you really need to look over your references again, and even looking up new ones too. That's completely fine. So if you remember like the assignment before, I had you guys look up some Google Slides. So the references I'm specifically talking about is, you know, the hands. If you do any of these landscapes from references or the hands, you know, just have this open to look at, you know, to help you with the drawing. Okay, I'm letting you know right now, if you try to draw from imagination, it's not going to look as good. Even myself, I've been doing art for many years. I still have to look at references. You know, there's obviously a few artists that don't need to look at anything and can draw anything that they want, but those kinds of artists, though, they really do like draw every day, every hour of their life. You know, it's probably like 5% of people that do that. So, you know, unless you're like that 5% of people, then I recommend looking at references to help you with your drawings. Okay, so let me try to minimize this. Okay, we'll just go back to here. Alright, okay, so we'll get started on the drawing. So I actually have my references to the side here. So these are like other pictures that I looked at to help me with my handscape drawings. And you know, you don't really need to do this, but this is just something to help me. You know, this is what they call like a reference splash page. I have my AP students do this, so it's like a practice, but this is like all the references I used for the drawing. Can't really see what's on that white space, but this is like drawing of like figures. Yeah, so that's gonna be what I'm gonna draw on the top of the hand. So I'm gonna have this to the side though, if you guys are wondering like what I'm drawing from. Okay, so to get started in the drawing, you know, a couple of different approaches with how you can go about. Obviously, you want to take a look at your thumbnail again. So I'm probably going to draw like the hands first, because that's the closest thing to me, and then I'm going to draw like the landscape parts at the very end. So, you know, think about like what logistically makes the most sense to draw first. I'm gonna do the hands because I feel like the hands are like the most important thing. So, yeah, figure out your order, draw it. So now one thing I will do though is I will draw this horizon line. So I could draw it very lightly. I actually want it below the middle line. So, you know, it's just, you're just transitioning your drawing from here. So I didn't purposely make this line here because this is like the original horizontal line. This is actually perfectly where like I want the horizon line to be. So I'm gonna draw that horizon line. I'm gonna look at my references. I'm actually just gonna draw this picture here first. The hands doing the you know, doing the arm wrestling. So now I'm going to modify this drawing a little bit though. Okay, so you know the hands are actually going to come out of the ground. So I'm not even like worried about how the hands will look. I'm just worried about like basic shapes. So because you know I want to get like this hand you know, on like this part of the drawing. So you want to move it over a little bit. So take your time with this part of the drawing. You know, you want to make sure everywhere is like, you know, you want the drawing to be like where you want it to be. So I'm actually going to draw like a big ball for like this part here. This is like where I want the hands to cup together. So your shape's going to be a little bit differently than like, you know, how we originally draw the hands, especially if you're doing something really complex like I'm doing. Because, you know, obviously this drawing is more of like two hands that are together. Okay, so this hand's going to come out here like this, and there's going to be another hand that's going to go like this. So I'm actually not drawing it exactly like the picture, but you know, this is like kind of how I want the hands to look. Okay, so I got my two shapes here. Actually happy with like, you know, the positioning, how it looks. Now I'm going to draw like some more of those details on the hands. So I'm just going to worry about the fingers for like this part here. How the hand's cupping the hand right here. Again, I'm not worried about, you know, it looking like exactly like a hand right now. I'm just making lines, drawing the basic shapes. This hand is going to cup around this hand here. So this is really complex what I'm doing here, but this is like, you know, I'm just looking at the shapes though. Okay, but overall though, this is how the shape would look if I were to draw like these hands together. All right. Okay, so she want to ball this out a little bit more. I might actually have Rob's kind of like cupping as like kind of like a sleeve over maybe. Okay, so I got my hands here. Now I'm gonna draw the two people on top. So I'm gonna take a look at these little action figures. Find a really cool looking one. Okay, I'll do this one right here. So I'm not even like worried about like how this will look. I'm just gonna do like kind of like a stick figure almost. Not really a stick figure though, but so we got this person trying to fight. He's gonna throw a punch like this. So I can go into more detail, but right now I'm just trying to get the main idea of how it would look. And then he's kind of like hunched over, trying to defend himself behind the hand. So I'm actually going to do this as like a silhouette. So obviously when I do my bigger drawing, this will be in more detail, but like right now I'm just doing like little stick figures for like the, you know, for the little figurines. So, okay, so I have an idea of like where the hand will look, silhouette, drawing of the hand. All right, now the next part is drawing the rest of the drawing. So, okay, so I kind of want to follow my thumbnail a little bit. So, I wanted to have the lava kind of spewing in this direction here. And, you know what, it'd be kind of neat to have like the hands submerged in the lava. That could be kind of cool. So, okay, we got the lava here. This is gonna be like the lava lake right here. So, you know, it'd be kind of neat to have like a little, you know, lava sprouts or the lava, you know, sprouting out on above here. It'd be really neat. Maybe I might want to do like little rock formations. That could be kind of neat. So I could have like a rock coming out like this here. So now I'm not really copying any of my references, but I'm just kind of just drawing what I think would look nice at this point. Okay, so drawing some rocks here. I might have one kind of going up like this. This one will probably be in shadow. So this is like the closest up thing. And maybe I'll do like one more rock over here. Yeah. Thinking about moving this horizon line higher, but let's just see how this looks right now. Okay. So I kind of want to do some mountains further away. So, you know, there's gonna be one right here, one right there, off to the page. But you kind of get the idea. So this is looking very, very similar to like my thumbnail here. It's just I'm going into more details, like figuring out what I'm doing with the front here. You know, you can even start shading things too if you want to. You know, right now I just kind of just work on the drawing itself though. I know I did want to do like a poofy cloud up here for this. So this is going to be like one big one right here. I'm going to have one that's like off this side right here. Okay. You know, you don't have to copy your thumbnail. This is like kind of close to like what I want to draw. But I made some artistic decisions, changes to the drawing to improve the look. Okay, and obviously I would go into more detail with the drawing. I would just try to do as much detail as you can. You know, I'll show you a better example of like a more finalized version of this. But this, I'm pretty much going to go with this though and just kind of go into more detail in the drawing. All right. But yeah, preliminary sketch though, we'll, you know, spend one day just to get the rough sketch, and then next day just go into more detail, and then we're going to take this to your final drawing. Alright.